Okay, here we are, kinesiology 114. This is running technique warm-up, lateral progressions. Now here's the thing, unless you're going to run a 100-meter dash, and that's the only event you do, you're going to have to learn how to and be good at applying force into the ground while pivoting. You're never ever just going to run down a soccer field, make a right-hand turn 90 degrees, run across the field, make a right-hand turn, and run back down the soccer field. You have to be able to apply force, pivot, and turn. I don't care if it's swinging a bat, swinging a racket, throwing a ball, blocking somebody. At some point, you are going to be required as an athlete to pivot and push at the same time. So these progressions that we'll look at here will be very similar to the running technique progressions we did straight ahead, but they'll be where we're moving laterally. And this is going to be very much the same progression where we did like the high knee walk, the light skip, the power skip, same thing. We go from a low intensity environment to a higher intensity environment. It's just we're moving laterally now. So let's take a look. So if we look at this first one, you can actually do this one walking. I present this one with a light skip. The key here is high knee position, toe up, and then this is an introduction also to lead leg and trail leg. So as I'm going across the screen, my lead leg is my left leg, my trail leg is my right leg. So my lead leg, I'm looking for high knee position, recovering when I come down on the skip. And then on the right leg, this is the leg I'm really focusing on delivering force into the ground in through the big toe, always in an arch forward position. So let's take a look here. All right, skip, up, 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 up. And as the skip progresses, delivering force now through the left leg, yeah, and that right side becomes more of a recovery and preload phase, and you're not really thinking about exploding off of the lead leg side. In this case, my left leg, and then when I come back, it'll be my right leg. Still high knee position, still toe up. That's what you're looking for in life right there. All right. If we go ahead and progress this, we're looking at getting a little more poppy here and having a little more explosiveness. It looks very similar, I know. Pop, pop. But you can see on that my mechanics start to break down just ever so slightly. Now on the side power skip progression, same thing, but we're going to cover more ground in between each one. There's very little backside mechanics. We're not too worried about heel to butt. It's all about heel recovery and a lateral step on this. Pop, pop. See the difference? Covering a little more distance there. Now watch my right leg. Good, good. Watch my right leg. It'll open up a little bit. Open up a little bit. So you can see like there, because I'm a little bit deconditioned for doing those drills, my technique actually starts to break down on the power skip. It was okay on the other ones. I'm delivering force through the big toe. My ankle's a little bit wobbly there. Pretty darn good. Now I open up the leg. Now I open up the leg. You can kind of see though that the forces involved as they escalated, my technique kind of eroded. So from a coaching standpoint, those are the kind of things that I'll look for when we're working out together. But with this drill, it's all about this triple extension of having the hip fully extended, the knee fully extended, the ankle extended, fingers in quotes, as you push the big toe into the ground and try to be explosive and cover as much ground laterally as possible. One more time. Good arm action, cheek to cheek. Yep, you're going to catch a little bit of cross-body movement on that because of the fact that you're going laterally. Yep. Now if we move this to the next set of drills, this 2-foot double pivot is actually a exercise that leads into a series of other ones. So we'll start off with our feet on a line out on the floor, and you'll have the balls of the feet on the line, and we're going to pivot 90 degrees one way, 90 degrees back. And it's important you just don't go 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees, but you pivot 90 degrees, take a moment, look down, look at your feet, get the communication to happen between your feet and your brain, and readjust your feet. You'll see me do it in the video. And adjust your feet. Once your feet have it, once your brain has it, then you pop back, you readjust your feet. Because as it stands, your feet have been at the end of your legs your entire life, but you've never really taken the time to evaluate them and look at them and provide that feedback a little bit. You just kind of naturally go about your day walking around. You don't think twice about it. But this drill, I'm asking you to pay attention to your footwork and pay attention to the feet. So let's look at this double 90, which you'll hear double 90 now in these next drills a ton. Pivot, pivot, adjust the feet. See that? Pivot, pivot, adjust the feet. Make sure you're square. Now the other way, pivot, pivot, take an adjustment. Yep, pivot, pivot. That holds true Also, if we do any kind of jumping and turning drills, when we first introduce these drills, you don't just do jump, turn, jump, turn, jump, turn, as you'll see as we get through these hurdle drills later on and ladder drills, but it's jump, turn, land, adjust, jump, turn, land, adjust. You know, you're paying attention to the little details in a slower, more controlled environment. So then when we ramp up the amplitude and become more explosive, your body naturally falls into proper mechanics. So again, as we do this, I'm going to force you guys to take a look at your feet. And you can even see, like here, I'm a little bit out of square, right? My feet are not totally square as I finish out this drill. Adjust, adjust. There you go. And that's what you look for, right? You have to have that feedback loop between your body and your brain. So now what that lends itself to is the pivot and push movement. This is a double 90 movement where you have double 90 foot action where the feet will either be pointed towards the camera or pointed in the direction that we're going. The backside leg drives across the body. The heel recovery that you see now happens on an angle across the body. We're not trying to swing the gait, meaning swing the leg around. The knee is actually being driven across the body, being driven across the body down course because we have mass in our legs and we're creating momentum because of our leg, and we're driving our leg across the body to help us gain more momentum in the direction we want to go. Always toe up position, and the mechanics change a little bit with the foot action because you're driving across so aggressively. You will feel your feet on the lead leg or your foot on the lead leg side. You will have a weight transfer from the big toe across probably to the third metatarsal, third toe, as you do this pivot and push. So let's take a look. Pay attention to the hips too. Watch my right, hip. Now watch that come back across my right hip, and you'll see my left pocket come around. Pocket, pocket, as I drive my knee. I'm gonna play it again. Play it, and you'll see the hips are driving. You'll see the back leg come across, drives across the knee. There's heel recovery. Watch the tip of the shoe from the back leg side. Drives across. Drives across. And it's that pivot and push that causes the active footwork that we're looking for in these drills. Now we get into the timing component. You look for better or more crisp hip action, and you want to have good crisp arm action across the body. Poop, poop. It'll feel a little bit funky at first, but once you get the hang of this and you get the pivot and push, you know, when I work with kids, I often describe it as you're trying to squish a bug on the floor. Squish and push, squish and push. And pay attention to the toes now, right? Are my toes pointed towards the camera or towards the wall? And you'll see there's a little skip phase in there where I transition from 90 degrees in one way, 90 degrees into the other. So as you do that, you have to get crisp, more crisp in your actions, if I can say it like that. So this is now the power skip where we're going to cover more distance, right? And as a result, because there's more distance being covered, more force being generated, we're going to cover more distance. And as we cover more distance, you have more downward force being applied to the body, as well as more torque being involved into the equation. And so as we do this one, you know, you have to make sure that you have your athletes well prepared to be able to handle these forces involved. And you can see I backed out because I'm covering more distance with each one. It's drive the knee across, drive the knee across. It's that backside leg that drives across and helps me cover some ground. You're almost freezing that knee action in the air as you come across. Let me see if I can freeze this on the next one we come across here. And as I'm skipping, pop, pretty darn good, right? You got triple extension here in the hips, the arm action across the body. This hand could probably be a little bit tighter to the hip there. My knee position is high. It's being delivered down course in the direction I'm going. And I got nice toe into the ground here, and my toe is a little bit down here, but I could probably do a little bit better. But I still have a pretty good toe up position. In a very dynamic environment, these are the things we're looking for as a coach. And so as you start to do this, get this into your own head, right? And like your mind's eye, as you start to work with this and start to figure out your own body as we do these drills, the forces that are being applied in this environment are very much higher than the very first drill that we did. And as a result, technique will tend to break down in areas of weakness. So what we'll see is if you have issues in your body, somewhere in a kinetic chain, right? Somewhere in the ankle, the knee, the hip, whatever it may be, we'll see that become magnified. as we increase the loads on the actual human organism. So the idea is, and when you guys watch each other, I want you to pick this out when you're evaluating each other. I'm looking for you to be able to see those kind of things. Like there, I was a little bit open on my hip, kind of leading with the right. And we saw that in the other drill, didn't we? When I was going the other way, like my right hip wanted to open up. I got a little thing going on in my back and my hip. So what I'm looking for with those drills is to introduce in movement patterns that are lateral in nature, require the athlete to apply force in multi-plane, not just straight ahead, not just sideways, but be able to do a pivot and push, and that'll replicate sport-specific movements. The other part of this is when you get into that pivot and push, you'll see when we do the ladder drill and there's a double pivot in the boxes that we do in each square, that double pivot with that footwork translates somewhat to the double pivot, the double 90 that we see in the pivot and push that you just saw in this presentation. I say it all the time, we're looking to translate the skills, guys. So with that, take a look at that video, go back, pick out some of the nuances, but realize the drills in the technique warm-up, these two that you just saw, we're doing these every single time over the next 8 weeks. So you better get to, you're gonna get to know them, I'll put it that way. All right, guys, thanks a lot. Signing off.